What's going on, fellas? 10 months ago, right? 10 months ago, if you guys are familiar with, the internet and Twitch and Kick and, IRL live streams and things like that, you guys know I show Speed, right? We're just gonna call him Speed. 10 months ago, Speed walked past Suburb Baby, right? If you guys, like I said, are familiar with streaming, content, comedians, skits, you guys have seen Suburb Baby before, right? 10 months ago, Speed walked past Suburb like he was just another face in the crowd. Now, 5 months ago, Suburb Baby posted a video on YouTube saying that he was done making content, right? He was quitting making content. Now, just last week, Suburb was standing on stage accepting the MVP award at Kai Cenat's Streamer University. And then just a few hours ago, while he was in the presence of other successful streamers, those other successful streamers were telling him, relax, bro, take a day off, take some time off, chill, enjoy your money. Right? And Suburb looked at them and said, I haven't made it yet. And that right there, fellas, is what I call the Suburb Baby Effect. I'm gonna break it down for you guys. Whether you make content or not, there's something that every single person watching this video can learn from this story. Because this isn't a story about becoming famous. This is a story about believing in yourself before the world does. This is a story about relentless work ethic, consistency. Right? I'm gonna get to that, I'm gonna cover it. It's about continuing after rejection, after disappointment, still going even when the work is no longer exciting to you. And most importantly, fellas, keep going even after you start winning. So let's start with the Speed incident, right? Again, fellas, this was 10 months ago, right? Speed was doing one of his IRL streams in Houston. So Speed came to Houston to visit. For those who may not know, Speed is a famous streamer, one of the biggest streamers on the internet. He's known for his high energy live streams, traveling the world, and just drawing like a big crowd everywhere he goes, right? He's very successful. When the news came out, Suburb Baby, right? We're gonna call him Suburb. Suburb, he was at Whataburger with his friends eating, right? And I guess he got a phone call. He got word that Speed was in Houston. Now, most people, they probably would have heard the news and be like, oh, that's crazy. Like, dang, he in Houston, that's what's up. But Suburb Baby took that information and acted on it immediately. Most people would have been like, it's probably too many people gonna be there. Or they probably would have been like, security not even gonna let us in. He probably won't know who I am. A lot of people would have made excuses. Suburb, he didn't do that. Again, this is in real life, right? Speed is a real life streamer, IRL. So, Suburb, he's watching his location. He figured out where Speed was going to be and he immediately pulled up. Once Suburb got on the campus, right, because it was like a big campus, I believe they were at a museum. Once Suburb got on the campus of the museum, he started walking towards the building that Speed was actually at. But while Suburb was walking towards the building to possibly have the most viral moment of his life, his own supporters were noticing him power walking and stopping him, asking for pictures, asking for autographs, wanting to speak to him, wanting shout out. And one thing that stuck out to me was he never treated them like they were getting in the way, right? He might have told them like, come on, you can walk with me, like walk with me and take the picture, like, but he never said, no, not right now, can't right now, maybe later. He took every single picture, signed every single autograph, and showed everybody love, even while he was walking towards the building for his own personal mission. He was chasing an opportunity for himself without acting like he was too important for the people who already supported him. Now, when he finally reached the building that Speed was at, security was standing in the entrance, telling everybody they can't come in, right? They wasn't letting nobody in. Now, Suburb, he's not no small figure. Like, he's actually known, right? So he could have been very cocky. He could have been arrogant, like, do you know who I am? But he actually was very humble. He waited outside the doors just like everybody else. Now, eventually, Speed ended up walking out. But when Speed walked out, he walked right past Suburb and everybody else because, you know, he was walking to his next destination. And of course he had security around him, so you really couldn't get close to him. Everybody was yelling, so Suburb couldn't really get his attention. Now at that moment, Suburb could have took that as a loss. Like, come on, they not letting us in, they not letting us around him. He can't hear me, like I can't get his attention. He could have just chalked the opportunity. He could have said, well, at least I tried, and just left it alone. But he didn't. He ended up following Speed to the next location. Now, as they were walking to the next location on the campus, Suburb, his supporters were still stopping him, asking for pictures. And, you know, Suburb was still showing love. He didn't deny anybody. He took pictures, signed autographs, gave shout out. He did everything. He did all that. He was still showing love to his supporters while still chasing his opportunity, literally. Now, when he finally caught up to the destination where Speed was at, security was still, you know, making things a little bit difficult, you know, doing their job, but protecting Speed, making sure nobody got close to him. But it just so happens that somebody on Speed's team recognized Suburb and told security, let Suburb come just for a second and say what's up to Speed. Suburb took that small opportunity and used every second of it. He got to have a conversation with Speed. He showed Speed love. He let Speed know, look, I fuck with your content. He asked Speed if he does collaboration. Speed said, yes, I do collab. Then Suburb asked Speed, have you seen any of my content before? Speed said no. And shortly after that, security cut the conversation short, just like that. That was it. No collaboration, no shout out, no viral moment with Speed. One of the biggest streamers in the world looked Suburb in his eye and told him that he doesn't know who he is. He's never seen his content before. But Suburb, he didn't go home and stop working. And even after that interaction, when he was walking to his car, even with like him not receiving the opportunity he wanted, he was still showing love to his supporters that were still stopping him, asking for pictures and asking for autographs. Now that was 10 months ago, fellas. 5 months ago, Suburb posted a video on YouTube saying, while I'm done with content. In that video, Suburb spoke about how he felt like his content wasn't hitting like it should have been. He was tired of promoting his videos, scripting, shooting, editing, doing all of that every day. He said he didn't feel happy anymore. He felt mentally drained. He said he felt like the industry wasn't genuine. He felt like people didn't want to collaborate with him. And despite the thousands of videos that he's already made, he still did not feel like he was reaching the level that he was capable of reaching. And fellas, this is the part of the journey that a lot of people don't see. People see somebody win an award, go viral, gain thousands of subscribers or thousands of followers, and just assume that that person always knew that he was going to work out. But that's not the case. Sometimes the people who appear the most consistent are fighting the strongest internal battle. They're asking the same questions that you ask yourselves. Is this going to work? Am I wasting my time? Is this worth it? Why am I working harder than everybody else but not seeing the results? Maybe I should do something else. I could tell in that video that Suburb reached that point. But the reason that we're talking about him today is because that feeling that he had did not become his final decision. Fellas, on your journey, right? On your journey on becoming him, you're gonna feel discouraged. You're gonna question yourself. You're gonna become tired mentally and physically, but you can't make a permanent decision based off temporary emotion. It's important to remember why you started. It's important to remember who you want to become, what you want to be known for, what you want to achieve, right? That's when you read your list of love, your list of hate, your letter to self. Now stay with me. The Speed situation was 10 months ago. The video of him wanting to quit content was 5 months ago. Now let's fast forward to this month, July. Kaizenat announced the return of Streamer University. I'm sure if you have internet, you know who Kaizenat is. He's one of the biggest live streamers in the world, has record-breaking events, has done interviews with some of the biggest celebrities. I'm sure you know who he is. And Streamer University is essentially like a creator boot camp, right? For like a couple days. I think it was like 4 or 5 days where like creators come on campus and they learn from other big creators, collab, network, and things of that nature. Now, anybody can't just come to Streamer University. You have to be selected, like you have to be picked. You're evaluated, you're picked based on your performance, you know, what you do, how you do it, who you are, your work ethic. It's a process, just like a real university, right? It goes based on what have you done. The selected content creators, they come, they live on campus, they attend classes, they collaborate, they compete, they network, they create content together. And this isn't a small scale. This is live in front of a massive audience. And this year, Kai held in-person application interviews. He had it in New York, Los Angeles, in Atlanta. And of course, he also had thousands of other online applications. Most people submitted an application online, shot a video, and just waited. But Suburb, he went to every single city that Kai Cenat was having these interviews. He treated every city like he belonged there. Again, fellas, I said New York, Los Angeles, and Atlanta. It might have been more, but that's all I can remember off the top of my head. So that means he's traveling around the country to make his presence known, to show how bad he really wants this and how much this means to him and that he deserves to be there. Wherever Kai went, Suburb was there to make his presence known. That's what you call desire, fellas. Desire is not just saying that you want something, because everybody wants something. Desire is how inconvenient are you willing to make your life to actually pursue it. Desire is catching flights without even knowing if you'll actually be accepted. Desire is showing up again and again after the first appearance did not guarantee anything. Now this is where things get special, y'all. So after the streamers get picked, right, Kai reveals who actually got accepted in like a draft format. So you guys know how like the NFL or the NBA, like they'll put your name on the board and they'll reveal your name on who got selected, who got picked. So Kai finally revealed the streamers that he chose one by one through like a draft situation. I believe it was 60 streamers who were revealed, and Suburb was literally the last selection, the last pick, literally. Imagine traveling to every city. Imagine promoting yourself repeatedly. Imagine believing that you belong amongst the other best creators there and sitting through the entire draft without hearing your name. Everybody else is celebrating as their name is called. Available spots are disappearing. Your confidence is being tested with every selection that's chosen that doesn't say your name. And then way at the very end, your name finally gets called. A lot of people probably would have felt the way, maybe felt disrespected, especially when, if we're being real, me personally, from what I've seen, I feel like he probably put in the most effort to get in there. I feel like some creators that probably were there, it was handed to them, right? But I honestly think if Suburb didn't go through the links that he went, he probably wouldn't have got chosen. Some people would have felt the way that they were the last pick and probably spent the whole event complaining about it. But Suburb did the opposite. As soon as he stepped foot on that campus, he was viral. He took advantage of everything the moment he stepped on that campus. Every camera, every conversation, every collaboration, every room, every challenge, every opportunity to entertain. He literally made himself impossible to ignore. Now again, fellas, this creator boot camp, Streamer University, is for 5 days. At the end, they hold a closing award ceremony, and they give out awards similar to, you know, the NFL and the NBA. You know, most improved, most valuable, you know, Rising Star Award, and things of that nature. And the person that was chosen for the MVP award was Suburb. He went from the last pick in the draft to the most valuable player. And that wasn't luck, that was preparation, right? That was preparation finally meeting opportunity. What you gotta understand, fellas, is Streamer University didn't give Suburb personality. It didn't give Suburb work ethic. It didn't teach him how to perform. It didn't teach him how to perform in front of a camera overnight. What that event did for Suburb was reveal to a larger audience what he's been working on, what he's been perfecting for years. Now, fellas, I feel like I'll be missing out on value. I wouldn't be doing you guys any justice if I didn't tie this into the 32 degrees principle. Just to put things in perspective for you fellas, we're in 2026, right? Suburb Baby has been making content since November of 2020. That's approximately 5 years and 8 months of work, and his current channel currently displays 25,000 videos. Think about that, fellas. 25,000 videos. Not 25 videos, not 250, not 2,500, 25,000. Now, fellas, if you're new to this channel, there's a principle I want you to understand, right? But if you're a regular, you already know where I'm going with this. We talk about the 32 degrees principle. If you put an ice cube in the freezer, you can move it from 0 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit, that ice won't melt. You can put it at 20 degrees Fahrenheit, it's not gonna melt. 25 degrees, it's not gonna melt. 30 degrees, 31 degrees, still not gonna melt. And despite all the energy being added, it will still appear to be the same block of ice. But at that 32 degrees, fellas, it begins to change its state. To somebody who only sees the final moment, it appears that everything changed just because of 1 degree. But that 1 degree couldn't have changed that transformation without the other degrees that came before it. And in this situation, fellas, Stream University was Suburb's 32 degrees. But those 25,000 videos that he had to edit, shoot, script, and promote, those were his 0 to 31 degrees. Those skits that received fewer views than he expected, those were degrees. Those videos that people scrolled past and didn't show any attention to, those were degrees. Those collaborations that never happened, right? The opportunity with Speed that never happened, those were degrees. The video where he considered quitting, right? When he made the video talking about quitting content, those were degrees. Now, of course, people are going to look at him now and assume that he blew up overnight. But in reality, his night lasted 5 years and 8 months. Now, fellas, I say that to say this: if you're working towards something right now, and you're not seeing any progress, or you're feeling like the progress or the transformation isn't happening as fast as you would like, it gets tricky with this 32 degree principle, because you never know when your 32 degrees is gonna hit. Right now you might be at 17 degrees. You may be at 24 degrees. But just because your life still looks the same, just because your bank account still looks the same, just because your body still looks the same, you're convincing yourself that the work isn't doing anything, right? You're convincing yourself that you aren't making any progress. And this is why most people quit. They stop applying heat to their ice cube and then wonder why things haven't changed for them. Fellas, you gotta look at things like, if you were to really bust your ass, grind hard every single day for the next 6 months, that your success is guaranteed. Whatever you want in life, whatever you want to achieve, obtain, if you were to work at it for the next 6 months, your success is 100% guaranteed. As long as you work on yourself and what you want to achieve for the next 6 months, your success is guaranteed. But you have to make do with your distractions. You have to make do with your vices. You have to make do with your bad habits. You have to make do with the negative people in your life. You have to make do with those negative environments. So what the Suburb Baby Effect looks like for your life, and this does not necessarily apply to making content. This is just if you're really trying to change your own life. You might have been going to the gym consistently for 2 or 3 months. Might have been eating better, right? Started doing some cardio. You might have been lifting heavier, tracking your macros. But when you look in that mirror, you still don't see that body that you imagined. So now you start getting discouraged. You start questioning whether the workouts are actually working. But you have to remember the Suburb Baby Effect, fellas. You may not have started melting yet. You might be at 15 degrees, 20 degrees, 25 degrees. You could even be at 31 degrees. And that's the scary part. You could literally be at 31 degrees. But you gotta understand, every workout, every track macro, every meal prep is a degree. You're adding degrees. Every time you go to the gym, you don't feel like it. The visible transformation may not have happened yet, but that doesn't necessarily mean that nothing is happening. Or maybe you've been applying for jobs for the past couple weeks. You submitted 20 applications already. You updated your resume. You've been studying, preparing for interviews, but ain't nobody called you back yet. Nobody called you back with an offer. So you start thinking, maybe I'm not qualified. Maybe nobody wants to give me an opportunity. Am I enough? Those are the moments where you have to stop and remind yourself, fellas, you're simply just going through your 0 to 31 degrees. Every application submitted is a degree. Every rejection is teaching you something. That's a degree. Or maybe you started a YouTube channel. You posted 10 videos, then 20 videos, then maybe 50 videos, but you barely receive any views. Nobody's commenting, your subscriber count ain't moving, and now you feel like you're talking to yourself. Fellas, I've been there. I can't tell you how many YouTube videos I made where nobody commented, right? They didn't get no likes. And then even when like, I think that one of my videos is gonna be a banger, right? I'm thinking, yo, this video gonna go through the roof. I spend a lot of time editing, spend a lot of time scripting, right? Doing research, and you got a number in your head of views that you wanted to get, but it don't get nowhere near that number. But you gotta remember, each video that you're doing it, you're building that muscle, you're adding degrees to your ice cube, right? But I'm sitting here looking like, who the hell do I think I am? Suburb Baby made 25,000 videos, and I'm over here thinking I'm doing something special. Those videos that I made that nobody showed any love to, those videos still showed me how to speak to a camera. Those videos still taught me how to edit efficiently, right? Find my own routine, how to create better titles, better thumbnails, better hooks. And even though my numbers weren't changing, I understood that I was still changing. That's the Suburb Baby Effect. One last thing I want to leave you guys with, fellas, is you just have to trust the process. Believe in your system. You have to believe before you see the proof. Suburb Baby dropped out of college when he was 18 years old to chase his passion, to dedicate his time to content. Do you understand how much belief that requires? Because when you make a big decision to drop out of school, right, you know, family gonna talk shit, friends gonna talk shit, parents might be disappointed in you. And the thing is, when you drop out, those thousands of followers aren't guaranteed. Streamer University wasn't guaranteed. That MVP award wasn't guaranteed. Those millions of views wasn't guaranteed. Only thing that he can guarantee was his input, which was, I can guarantee I'm gonna drop 25,000 videos. You got to be able to have that vision that nobody else can see yet. Lastly, just to end the video off, I want to talk about this yacht clip. Like I mentioned before in the video, Suburb, he was on the yacht with some other successful streamers, and they kind of started like, not making fun of him, but kind of discouraging or like not really giving much praise to him having 25,000 videos. They told him he was working too much. They told him he needed to take some days off. They even told him, and I quote, bro, you're human. They even called him fake humble. They telling him that he was already rich, that he's done enough. They telling him he gonna burn himself out. And Suburb told him, I haven't made it yet.
I looked at the channel, bro. Why you got 25,000 videos, bro? How many jokes can you crack to have 25?
You gotta realize, they said she's still a girl, she's still a girl.
Bro, this nigga got 25,000 videos, bro. I never seen a nigga with 25K videos, though.
Man, it's like,
bro, what the, make a movie, god damn it. Nigga, why you got 25 5-minute videos?
I'm streaming now.
At this point, you overworking.
Right.
I'm streaming now.
Relax, bro. I'm honestly worried about your health, bro. You gotta know when, bro, be a human for once, brother.
I ain't made it yet, nigga.
Yes, you did,
yes,
bitch.
You did.
You got MVP.
I ain't driving in a
You know what happened to me when I got MVP?
What?
I got the Ferrari, nigga.
Driving in Lambs and Roses is not all it's cracked up to be, bro. We got all that shit, bro. It's not all
But
it's
this nigga
cracked
got
up.
25,000 videos.
Y'all got it, I don't.
Nigga, stop lying, bro.
Nigga,
when I get tired of this nigga,
when I get my 50-bedroom mansion,
chat, this nigga got money, he's lying to y'all, bro. I hate, maybe you
take time to come in, bro. When I get my 50-bedroom mansion with the 50-car garage, and I got all my staff working for me, I might take a day off, all right?
I don't have none of that, and I still take a day off. You're a human.
You rich.
You're rich. Stop lying to them.
I drive a fucking Nissan.
Because you want to be fake humble. You rich, bro. It's okay. Rich nigga. I know this.
I'm not a rich nigga.
Bro, it's fine, bro. It's okay.
You gotta realize, you can take 3 months off and be okay. If I take 3 months off, I'm fucking.
No, you're not.
I am.
I don't take 3 months off. I'm talking about 2 to 3 days, brother. 2 to 3 days. Brother to brother though, like even if the stream wasn't on, if you keep going at this rate, bro,
I'm gonna be rich as fuck.
No, you're gonna burn yourself out.
Yeah, you're gonna burn out, bro.
And then you're gonna stop streaming for a year, you're gonna be sad and shit, and then you're gonna come back.
And have a baby.
I'm trying to tell you.
What the fuck I'm gonna do for a year?
Listen to me, bro. When you go too hard, you have to get your mental right, bro. With the streaming shit, it'll take over your life. I'm telling you.
Now I want to make something clear. Yes, reset matters. Yes, recovery matters. Burnout is real. Yes, fellas. But there's a difference between recovering because your mind and your body requires it and becoming comfortable because other people or your peers feel like the level that you're at is good enough for you. Now the streamers that said these things, they may have meant well, right? They very well may have meant well, but they were answering a question that Suburb never asked. They were measuring his life according to their goals. They see money, right? They saw money, but he sees it as unfinished business. They're seeing subscribers or like, sub counts, but he's looking at it like the distance between where he currently stands and where he sees himself in the next 5 years. It's like they saw the 25,000 videos and asked him like, yo, bro, like, why you still working? Like, but with Suburb, he sees those 25,000 videos and say, look how much work it took me to get here. And the one thing that I hate, fellas, is it's always the people that try to humble you, that try to tell you to be humble when they start noticing that your ice cube is melting and you're becoming successful. It's always those people that's telling you, be humble. You're working too hard. But when you was down, right, when you weren't working hard at all, they wasn't telling you to get on your grind. So don't tell me to be humble. So fellas, just so you understand the Suburb effect. So fellas, just so y'all understand the Suburb Baby Effect, it's not about going viral. It's not about winning the MVP. It's not about getting recognized by streamers. The Suburb Baby Effect is what happens before those moments. It's believing in yourself before the proof. It's the showing up after the rejections, continuing after disappointment, being the final pick but still performing like you was the number one. And the thing that I noticed about him is that after he won the award, he didn't slow down. So fellas, don't be discouraged by your losses, but don't get comfortable with your wins either. Stay consistent, stay working, because success doesn't come overnight. The changes that you want aren't gonna come overnight. It's all about putting your head down and really grinding, regardless of what anybody say, regardless about how you feel, because eventually your ice cube is gonna start to melt. That's all I really got for you today, fellas. I just felt like that story was pretty unique, and I wanted to share it because that is a good representation of staying consistent even when you get discouraged or even when you don't see the results right away. Staying consistent, and eventually your time will come. But fellas, just like always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on social media platforms. I'm gonna leave them in the description below. But until next time, fellas, it's time to perform.